Good evening, all. Welcome to week 3 of the GT3 Championships Season 2. Tonight we are at the Twin Ring MOTEGI and we have dual race. I'm with Ruben and Phil. Good evening, guys.
Good evening, Mark.
Evening.
And as we speak, the guys are just going out on their warm-up lap before they do their solo laps. So we're back into the way it's supposed to be. So they'll all be doing 2 individual hot laps, or maximum of 2, clean hopefully to set a time, with a reverse grid for the top 10 in the second race. So it worked quite well last week, albeit there's some other issues. Yeah, thoughts on tonight? I don't think we've raced here before from memory of all the seasons we've done, but it is a good track. It's a MotoGP track predominantly on TV anyway. Well, that's where I know it from.
Yeah, we'd never raced here before. Even had to buy it myself. I've never raced here personally, so did a few laps. It's a really fun track. So I'm looking forward to tonight's race. There's some very difficult chicanes. It's a very difficult downward hill braking zones. So yeah, it should be quite a challenge, but I'm sure most of these guys are up to that challenge. I think we have a few guys on the old sweaty cam tonight. Let's have a look. Nice downward view for Billy.
I thought he was bending over his rig sorting something out. I just realised it's top down, isn't it?
I thought that at first.
I thought he was having some technical issues.
I think he'll be streaming as well,
yeah.
so he'll be on multiple cameras.
I was actually thinking the same. Yeah.
That's all right then, it's not me. We've got Arnold Chanier and Chris Needham, who are racing for RWC, isn't it?
They are.
Yes.
Which is the red, black and blue liveries. I'm trying to remember. We'll probably go on board at some point. So, having a quick look, the pace setters, Luke McKeon, 149.09, Elliot Harper with the same 2-digit time, and Aaron Rose and Lewis Rose close out the front 2. Rose on the grid at the moment. We're currently on board with Chris Needham, as we can appreciate VR setup. He's stuck with it, in fairness. He's been on VR for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he has been with VR for a while. I've recently gone back to it as well.
Oh, have you? Oh,
yeah.
You've gone back to the dark side, have you?
Same space, and it is good. I think before my PC wasn't really up to it, and I think now I've upgraded a little bit. And that's definitely helped.
Yes, you might be hearing that correctly. Ruben's very quiet.
I'm just listening to you all. It's all good. We're looking forward to this one, though. I mean, I haven't raced it on iRacing myself. I did race it on some other titles, but I mean, it's such an amazing track. It does have a lot of 90 degrees turns, but I think it's a track which suits the GT3 quite well, and should provide some really close racing. So yeah, definitely looking forward. And we do have some quick people tonight, as usual. As you said, Mark, it's Rose at the moment at the top with a 149.079. I do think in the session we had somebody in the 148s even. If I'm not mistaken, that was Luke, who's currently in P2.
Yeah, practice times, I think they were doing late 148s. I don't know if the session's a little bit further on than practice sessions, so they're hovering around the 149 dead, so it's quite possible somebody might squeeze in a 148. But you only have 2 hot laps to do it instead of around 25 minutes. You see Aaron Rose go slightly slower.
Good evening, Connor. Good evening, only details. See you on stream. On board with Luke McKeon, as he's gonna try to take that provisional pole position from Rose. Good evening, Sean. Welcome to the stream. So far looking pretty good from Luke. Oh, a little bit wide there. But should still be good. Not necessarily a track where you easily get a lot of off tracks, as if you would like to compare it with Spa. So it should be good to push quite a bit. Well, good evening, Paul. So let's see what Luke is able to do here. Is he able to grab that pole position? And he does. There you go. 148.8. Good
That's
evening,
not
Neil.
far off the practice times in that I mentioned earlier.
No, it's not.
I think Elliot Harper's done, because I think back into the pit, I think.
I think that was the end of the session, actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I think we are done.
yeah, we can get the written up for you now.
There we have it. Oh, on pole position for round 5, aka race 1 at Motegi. It's Luke McKeon on P1, Aaron Rose P2, Elliot Harper P3, Lewis Rose P4, Billy Fletcher P5, Matt Carana P6, Leon Penn on P7, Mac Crow P8, Nacho Gaspar P9, Adam Southgate P10, Matthew Hodges P11, Jack Fielder Clifford P12, 13 it's Arnaud Channonier, P14 is Irio Martin, P15 René Bourchier, P16 Chris Spence, 17 Simeone Perego, P18 John Threxter, P19 James O'Reilly, P20 Matthew Walker, P21 Craig Shelton, P22 Chris Needham, P23 Jason Headington, and on P24 Jess White. P25, very sorry, Koyoshi Kelly.
Got his name correct this week as well. It took a bit of
Exactly.
doing. It was very weird.
It was weird how it was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, sorted now, so all good. Looking forward to this. Should be a good race. So just all gridding up. Right, I will leave you in the capable hands of Ruben and Mark.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
We'll do the best we can, as usual.
So currently in the league standings, Luke McKeon is still currently leading. We've only included week 1 at the moment. We had some issues last week, in week 2, so we're still reviewing that at the moment. So there is as it was after rounds 1 and 2, which was week 1. So Luke McKeon's leading 3 points ahead of Elliot Harper with Adam Southgate and Callum Brandt 3rd and 4th. So still plenty to play for, early days yet. Oh, and we'll keep you guys posted on what we do going forward.
So it's a full formation lap again, or isn't it? No, it's not actually. I'm sorry. Quite a short run, and Luke is going. It's green, green, green. immediately pulls quite a bit to P3, P2, P3, and P4, the Rose brothers. And it's Elliot Harper who already lost position. So 3 McLarens chasing down the Audi R8 from Luke. But he going through turn 1 and turn 2 quite well. And as we know, it's a sprint race, so 8 laps to go. Yeah, Leon Penn doing a nice little battle with Nacho Gaspar. Adam Southgate is on the back of Nacho as well. So far, so good. Not a lot going on. Chris Needham and Jess White having a nice little battle. The 2 Lambos. Oh, and there's a little tap on the back of Jess White by Chris Needham. But as we all know, we've got race control to have a little look into that one.
And tonight we've got, is it Ed and Neil? I think it is. I don't think Aaron's in there tonight, is he?
I think you're right. Yep.
So good evening, guys. But currently on board with Liam Penn. He's currently sitting in 8th position with Nacho Gaspar and Adam Southgate in hot pursuit behind him. This is race 1, which is our sprint race. Already on second lap.
Luke McKeon on that first lap, about half a second quicker so far. While Elliot Harper is having a nice little battle with one of the Rose brothers. I think it's Lewis. It is. On his inside here. Giving each other room. Nicely moved. Yeah, nice move there by Elliot.
Nice and smooth. They've got a little 3-car train behind them, all 2-3 temps behind each other, which is good to see.
Nacho putting the pressure on Leon Penn, but tucked in right behind him. Well, here we have the battle between John Thresher and James O'Reilly. And there you have the BMW from Walker with the nice tic-tac livery, the one you like so much, Mark.
That's the one, yep. It looks better than the early centre one that, is it Luke's got it? I can't remember who's driving the early learning one. You might not even know what that early learning centre one is, do you?
Nope.
No, that's okay, I'll explain another time. I'm sure people of a certain age would understand from the UK.
So everything's looking good so far. Quite a lot of trains. People still close, which is to be expected, I guess.
Ray Shelton's the car delivery. The one behind
oh,
Mr.
right.
Walker here.
That one. With all the
one looks
numbers.
like a 4-year-old painted it in.
Craig Shelton running a little bit deep to the last section. Track. Final turn. It's quite a tricky one. You want to get the brake-in done right, otherwise you could lose the back end of the car quite easily. Right, still back again with Elliot Harper. And by the way, Luke McKeon and Aaron Rose are both pulling quite the gap to Lewis. Quite a train forming behind them.
Just looking down, Nacho Gaspar is literally a 10th behind. Billy Fletcher's also. So it's close battles. Billy Fletcher's just taken Matt Caruana. Ah, well, it's been a long day. Caruana. Sounds like Marijuana. Okay. So Billy and Matt continuing to have a little battle, keep flicking places.
Yeah, well, great racing, and
Macro having a little look.
Exactly, Macro very, very close behind him as well.
If you can guess his racing number, bonus point to you.
So Nacho currently still in P8. He is in front of Leon Penn. But then again, I would suspect it to see him a little bit further up.
Well, the Rose brothers are doing well, second and third at the moment.
And I think Craig Sheldon just had an issue somewhere. He dropped a couple of positions. Currently in P22.
Oh, there he is.
And maybe the Big Tech BMW was involved as well.
Oh,
Let's see
there's
what
a little
happened.
coming together ahead.
Just
Ooh, 4 wide, don't go. Oh,
Uh,
dear. Oh, Lord.
right. Well, definitely one for Neil and Ed to have a look into. Let's go back to we were with Chris Needham, and we're now switching to Matt Carana and trying to keep it up with Billy Fletcher. Ooh. Still that battle between Leon Penn and Nacho Gaspar, where Nacho Gaspar overtook Leon the lap before. It's now Leon putting the pressure on, but look at Adam Southgate, nearly making it 3 wide there, putting it on the inside of Leon Penn. Nicely done. Looks like he covered it off quite well, having a better run. So where Leon, yeah, well, Leon was trying to challenge Nacho for PA, but actually lost the position to Adam right now. And Matthew Hodges and Jack Fielder Clifford aren't that far back as well. Elliot Harper though now still on the back of Lewis. But Lewis and Elliot though 3 seconds away from Aaron as well as Luke. Luke only has a second over Aaron, so still a lot to play for. And Leon Penn currently in P10. Let's see if he is able to get position, because as we know, we do have a reversed grid for the top 10 from race 1 going into race 2 for tonight. Wow, Luke McKeon and Aaron Rose pretty much matching lap times there, Mark, both in the 149.3s.
Yeah, they were not a lot separating them in quali either, wasn't there? There was only not even a 100th, I don't think. They're doing really well, actually. I think it was last week and the week before, they were sort of in the top 10, weren't they? And they are pretty competitive as a pair.
Yep. Oh,
time-wise.
And I do think Chris Needham had an incident somewhere. He first lost the position to Chris Spence, then to Walker, Sheldon and Haddington, and he's currently in the pit, in stall. Oh, Nacho Gaspar definitely challenging Matt Crow for P7. A little bit of flashing going on there by Nacho, not quite sure why.
Well, on the plus side, at least the timing screen seems to be working properly this week.
And as I'm looking down the timing table, it looks like we do have a nice little battle for P14 as well between Arnaud Chanonnier, René Borsche and Perego. Oh, René Borsche looked to brake really late into that tight hairpin going on to the back straight. This is where you've got a very tough braking section because you're going downhill as well. Another quite tight right-hander following up, going underneath the bridge. Little final 3 turns before we come onto that main straight. Oh, and Elliot Harper, look at Elliot Harper. Within a 10th of Lewis Rose at the moment for P3. Look at the glowing discs, pretty nice. Brake bias pretty much setting all the way forward. Boys have created. Ooh. Oh, it looked like there was a little bit of contact between the two.
I was gonna say.
Art Racing. And Chris Needham, he got a drive-through. That's probably why he is still in pit. We did saw that incident earlier on in this race.
But currently, Luke McKeon has the fastest lap of the race, 149.35. Aaron Rose, literally 100th behind Will, 149. But Luke has now opened up a second gap. We've seen before that usually when he opens one up, it's pretty tough to catch him. Elliot Harper's continuing to put the pressure on the second Rose, Lewis in this case, approximately 3 tenths behind. And so's Nacho Gaspar back in 8th at the moment, behind Matt Crow as well, 3 tenths behind. A couple of little battles on track, as you mentioned earlier.
People are still close to each other. It's Perego now as well on P19, another second behind Walker.
Ooh.
Just a little bit of blinking going on.
Yeah, I thought, hello, he's gone off somewhere, I did see it.
Bit of ping loss or ping. Oh, so good. Sometimes happens, and when it's just briefly, it's not a big deal. Sometimes you see cars jumping around where you know that's not how it's supposed to be.
Is if you're following them.
Exactly.
So Audi ahead of 3 McLarens ahead of an Audi. So.
Well, and I'm wondering now, while Nacho Gaspar.
Ooh,
there we have it. I was going to say
instant...
he's lost a couple of positions.
Oh, hello. It's the grass there just caught him as he tried to go back on.
Yeah, and
just have a little look. Guy's a little bit wide. Tries to go back on the track, but it just snatches it. Off she goes.
Yeah, and I would reckon he kept his foot down as well. But that means, I think it was Adam Southgate who was behind him at that time. Had a little bit of contact with him. Still seems to be driving. Currently in P8. Leon Penn was looking at a P10 earlier before that incident with Nacho. So, I mean, currently on provisional pole for race 2 is Matthew Hodges, the BMW, who we are following at the moment. So, with only about just over a lap to go, it's going to be quite interesting. See what Matthew's going to do. Is he going to try to defend the 10th position to Jack Fielder-Clifford? We'll have to wait and see. But we're on the final lap, white flag. It's Luke McKeon still leading in front of Aaron Rose, Lewis Rose on P3, Elliot Harper P4, Billy Fletcher P5, Caruana P6, Macro P7, Leon Penn P8, Adam Southgate P9, and Matthew Hodges rounds off the top 10. Although Nacho had that spin, he is relatively close to Irion Martin for P12. So didn't lose that much though with the incident.
I can see Jack Fielder-Clifford in 11th is clawing back the gap.
And in the background, I'm not quite sure who that was, but in the background I saw somebody going off and hitting the barrier quite hard, and it's Elliot Harper. There you go. He lost a couple of positions, was in P4, trying to challenge Lewis as we're currently seeing here. That was a hard hit. I think I think he will be happy that it's the final lap of the race. So if he manages to at least carry on, and he doesn't have a meatball, as we call it, the black flag with the orange dot, then he should be able to finish this race. But we're on board with Aaron Rose, still chasing down Elliot Harper. Luke McKeon, about 1.5 seconds behind. So as long as Luke doesn't make a mistake in this final section of the track, then he should be taking home the win for round 5. The sprint race at Twin Ring Motegi, and he doesn't. So it is Luke McKeon winning round 5, being followed by Aaron Rose in P2.
Oh, Jack Clifford has taken Matthew Hodges in 10th.
Well, actually, Matthew Hodges still losing positions, so he probably...
Off track,
yeah. There was something going on.
Yeah, so Jack Fielder Clifford takes 10th position, which means he'll be on provisional pole for race 2, the feature race. He did put a lot of pressure on. I did see the times were coming down quite quickly. Got to about 3/10. So just waiting for the back of the field to cross the line. I think we've only got 2 more to go.
Exactly. There it is, Jason Headington across the line for the final time. Oh, breaking a little bit late, but still manages to come across the line. 21. So, round 5 done and dusted. Mark, I'll leave it up to you, mate.
Why, thank you very much. So, results. Luke McKeon taking yet another win for Altus Esports in first position. Aaron Rose and Lewis Rose second and third. Billy Fletcher fourth. Matt Carunia. Elliot Harper in sixth. Oh, I keep making it up every time. Matt Crone seventh. Leon Penn in eighth. Adam Southgate in ninth. Jack Fielder Clifford in 10th. Nacho Gaspar. Quite surprising 11th finish from him. Romy Martin in 12th, Arnold Chenier 13th, René Borsch in 14th, John Trester 15th, Matthew Hodges in 16th, 17th Chris Spence, Matthew Walker in 18th. '19th is Simone Brego, even though it says 18th for some reason.
Yeah, that's weird.
Craig Shelton 20th, Jason Hamilton 21st, and then Chris Needham, James O'Reilly, Jez White, and Kiyoshi Kelly not finishing.
So we'll take a little break and we'll be right back for round 6 at the Twin Ring Motegi for the CXR GT3 World GT3 Championship.
welcome back for the feature race of round 6, week 3. Ring MOTEGI. So Luke McKeon took the win in the sprint race, so he will be starting way back in 10th. I've forgotten already, due to my old age, who's going to be on pole. Jack Fielder Clifford off the top of my head.
It's Jack.
You might even have a graphic to whack up before they start. So they're just having a quick little interlude warm-up type thing. And then they will grid up and we'll be ready for the feature race, which is, reminds me, Ruben, I can't remember, is it 25 minutes or half hour with a mandatory pit?
I believe it's 30, but with a mandatory pit. And I think what we just saw was people actually practicing the pit entry, because that's quite a tricky one. It reminds me a little bit of the pit entry of Le Mans, where you've got sort of a tight little chicane before you come into that pit. So it's definitely worth practicing. But here we've got the standings for the feature race. It's Jack Fielder Clifford on P1, Adam Southgate P2, Leon Penn P3, Matt Crow P4, Elliot Harbour P5, Matt Carana P6, Billy Fletcher P7, Lewis Rose on P8, Aaron Rose P9, Luke McKeon on P10, and Nacho Gaspar P11, Irion Martin P12, Arnaud Channonier on P13, René Boucher P14, John Fressler P15, Matthew Hodges P16, Chris Spence P17, Matthew Walker P18, Simeon Perego P19, Craig Sheldon P20, P21 Jason Headington, Chris Needham P22, James O'Reilly P23, Jess White on P24, and Koyoshi Kelly on P25. Looking forward to this one. I mean, we did see some good racing in the sprint race, and I mean, it's strategy comes into play now for this one, so we'll have to see what people will be doing. How quickly can Luke McKeon go up the field? Yep.
Right. This car, sorry, not lead car. It'll be up to Jack to get us started. He's keeping him bunched up. And off he goes.
Green, green, green.
We're on board with Luke McKeon. There we have it. Matthew Hodges, P16. Back to Leon Penn.
Lewis Rose. I'm not sure if he overtook Billy Fletcher before the line or not.
I think René Bosch had a spin or something, because he dropped back to P23.
Yep.
While Nacho Gaspar also went wide and lost a couple of positions.
Adam Southgate already trying to have a look, but he's just lost a place to Leon Penn, who's taken second now as a result.
Oh, and I think Luke McKeon just got turned around.
What's going on? This could be yellows.
A lot of cars involved. This is, yeah.
All right, man. Caution is out.
And there we have it. We've got the yellow.
We have. Yep, there it goes. Oh, I don't know if we can see a replay of what happened there, but it was the domino effect, I think.
Yeah, for what I saw was that I think Luke got turned around in that turn, and then all the cars coming up.
Yeah, we're all
got involved
up. Just having a little look here. Oh, just Aaron Rose just got.
Yeah, well, Luke tried to take that inside line, but I mean.
Oh, ouch.
Here we'll see it again.
Doesn't take much.
No. No.
Then all the other guys obviously through won't see that till late.
Wow, look at that Ferrari going. I don't know how he managed to keep that on track, but there was quite some avoidance. Well, a lot of cars involved in that incident, so we do have the Focus yellow, and this is why we take the total amount of race time to 30 minutes, because the lap times won't, or the laps won't count. Or we'll have to wait and see, but it shouldn't count anyways. But yeah, well, like I said, we'll have to wait and see. You think some people will come into the pit? You see that Just White, Koyoshi Kelly, and Nacho Gaspar are showing retired. I think we'll have to wait and see if that's actually the case. How bad is the damage on Luke McKeon's car? Who's coming into the pit for a fast repair?
No, just coming up to the last section. May well see a few dive in.
There we see Luke McKeon,
Yep.
first to come into the pit. Oh,
Gone off
no.
track.
He's staying out. Well, it could be that the pit lane is still closed.
Oh, okay.
We'll have to wait and see. But he came back.
So does the pit lane stay closed when the yellows are out then?
It could be on the first initial lap. But it is probably because, I mean, the only reason why Luke McKeon came back on track. So Matthew Hodges in the background, dropping back a little bit.
I don't recall. Is that a new livery from Luke McKeon? I don't recall it looking like that.
Yeah, it is. It actually is for the Altus Esports team.
So how many laps is it with the pace car out under yellows? Is it 3 laps?
A minimum of 3 laps, yeah.
I assume there might be the opportunity if the pit lane is open to go in this one if it's not open on the first lap.
A little bit of live action from Billy Fletcher.
That's not a flattering angle, is it? Let's be honest. It looks like he's trying to fix something.
Chris Needham and Arne Chardonnay. I do think Billy is on triples. And Chris and Arne out, as we see, are both
VR.
on the VR. Oh, and then a lap's taking so long, isn't it, behind the pace car?
Can only go as fast as the car in front.
Yep. So we went on to lap 2 from 16. So the positions as it is, it's Jack Phil Clifford in P1, Adam Southgate P2, Leon Penn P3, Matt Crow P4, Elliot Harper in P5, Mac Harana in P6, Billy Fletcher P7. Is it Lewis Rose in P8,
Rose, yeah.
Irio Martin P9, Arnaud Chanmier P10, Luke McKee in P11. But he does have that damage and does want to take the pit. Aaron Rose in P12, René Borsche P13, and John Tressiter P14, Matthew Hodges P15, Simeone Perego P16, Craig Sheldon P17, Jason Hennington P18, Chris Needham P19, James O'Reilly P20, Chris Walker P21, and Chris Pence in P22. Thank you for the follow. Right, so the pit lane wasn't open because Jack wasn't behind the pace car quick enough. So I'd imagine that the pit lane will be open at the end of this lap. So you reckon we're gonna see Luke McKeon jumping in, and there we go. Luke McKeon now is coming in for his fast repair. Because do remember, we do have 1 fast repair for everyone to use when necessary. And yeah. Looking back at that incident, Luke McKeon got hit hard. And it's Lewis following him as well.
Aaron.
Sorry, Aaron. My bad. There you have it. Both took their fast repair and already out of the pits.
I presume they have to join at the back, do they?
Reckon they will. And looking at Luke is really slowing down to catch up with Chris Pence. Doesn't happen that very often that we do have the full course yellow, but with this incident involving about 5 or 6 cars, of which only 2 actually came in for the fast repair, although Nacho Gaspar, who also was involved in that incident, has retired from the race. Which is quite unfortunate because he was showing quite some good pace in the previous rounds from week 1 and week 2. Didn't really seem to have the pace for round 5 here at Twin Ring Motegi, but it is what it is. He is retired. Here we are on board with Billy Fletcher for Luxem 24. Nice suit matching delivery.
Well, I think they need to upgrade the old pace car, don't they? My sort of pace, actually. I might be all right. Producer being funny in the background.
What did he say, Mark?
I don't know, something about one job. I remember.
Something about the pace car still winning?
Yeah, probably. Well,
Right,
actually,
so
technically that's true because you're not allowed to overtake the pace car anyway, are you? How do we know when it's the last lap of the pace car?
when the lights go out on top of the car.
Still flashing. Come on, put them out. Where are we? Just over halfway through the lap.
I hope all the viewers aren't falling asleep because this isn't the racing that we want to see. That's quite obvious. But yeah, I haven't
It could have been
seen-
worse. Could have been Le Mans, couldn't it?
Yeah, but still, this is quite slow. This is quite slow pace. But hey, it is what it is. We're behind this car. Just have to wait until this car comes in. Gonna go off again. Yes, that's what we're seeing, Byron. Figured it out. Why? For what I'm getting in my ear, Byron, apparently in-game laps aren't counting, so it's only for the overlay that we're currently using. The light should go out this lap. Is it? And we'll have a single file restart, although looks like Phil, the pace car, is still going.
We've got another lap, haven't we?
So we've got one more lap to go, and then the lights will go out. But keep in mind that we will finish the race under the actual 16 laps. I do hope that people, I do hope they have to adjust their pit strategy as well, don't they? I mean, they're burning fuel, although it probably wouldn't be as much as normal, but they will be burning more fuel than they probably have calculated to fuel up. Yeah, I don't think so. Well, there we see it. The lights are out, so this will be the final lap. Thank God.
I'll tell you what, you
It
carry
will
on
be the
talking,
final
Rube. I'll be back shortly.
Right, Right, so the maximum time amount for the race is 14 minutes, which we will gonna have, because I'm not quite sure what the actual lap times are while behind the pace car. But yeah, it's looking like something like 8 minutes. Oh, going green this lap. There we've got the race control having a little shout in Twitch chat as well. So for everybody who is still watching, thank you very much for sticking with us. Although it is very, very dull, but it is what it is. Racing still will be good, reckon. It's Jack Fielder Clifford who's got Adam Southgate behind him. The Audi versus the BMW. BMW seems to be doing quite well on this track. The M4 GT3, which has replaced the BMW Z4 that we had earlier in our racing. Leon Penn on P3, also in the Audi. And the first McLaren, Elliot Harper, P5, with the first Lambo, P6, Matt Caruana. And something that Mark probably doesn't like that much, we only have that one Ferrari, James O'Reilly, who was the one that...
Yep. Hashtag bring back the Ferrari.
How he avoided it all, I'm not quite sure, but he did quite well to keep on going, even being in the gravel trap.
Well, on the plus side, there's less than half a lap to go.
Yeah, to be honest, bar racing, I mean, a manual safety car would be quite good.
We can get Ruben to do a guest appearance in it.
I do recall from a championship we were running with the team that there was an actual sort of manual safety car. But yeah, I mean, you would still have to range it all. But yeah, I do agree with Byron though. The racing one sucks. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, we don't have anything to change about it at the moment.
So, what's the fuel scenario likely to be? I'm assuming they're still going to have to pit, aren't they? Because they've got to do the mandatory.
Well, I mean, the laps haven't counted. It does count it on our actual overlay in stream, but in our racing, the laps didn't count. So
if we're going to a timer, what's the timer currently on?
Well, we do have a maximum of 40 minutes.
Yeah.
For the feet race. Well, yeah, I mean, these laps take quite long. There we have it, 15 minutes at the moment, of which only lap 1 has been raced for.
So we
about
have
half a
got
lap.
25 minutes, 11 laps, 11.2s. Well, it's not going to be far off, actually, is it? They're doing 148s, 149s, wasn't it? So
yeah,
it won't be far off, will it? So.
Right, pace car finally coming in, and we're gonna start the race a single file, and it's Jack who will be setting pace, and off he goes. Wow, he
made a very good
green flag.
exit out of that and caught him a little bit. So for clarity, are you allowed to overtake before the line?
Oh, okay. And immediately some hard racing there by, I think it was Elliot Harper on the inside of Matt Crow. Do keep in mind that the tire champs have dropped quite a lot behind the pace car. So they have to keep that in mind. Luke McKeon
already up to 19th. Wow.
Yeah.
5 places in C1. Jack Fielder Clifford going off like a stab rat. 8 temps already up ahead of Adam Southgate.
Yeah,
a nice empty track.
So it dropped a little bit to about half a second now. Oh, a little bit of contact, I think, between Chris Spence and Luke McKeon, or... Right, well, Luke lost the 2 positions again and is now on the back of the grid.
Did he go too early, maybe?
Elliot Harper, we're following him with Billy Fletcher right behind him.
There's a little train between 5th and 9th at the moment. They're all sort of 3 temps behind each other, so worth keeping an eye on that. René Bourchier putting a lot of pressure on Matthew Hodges at the moment. As well, back down in 12th position.
Oh, is he going to go for that inside move? No, he doesn't. Wow. Preston really had to be easy on the brakes, trying to avoid running in the back of René. Did quite well.
Billy Fletcher's just taken 4th spot.
Oh, what's going on?
Oh, hello. Having a meltdown.
Whoop.
Right, I think it's sorting itself out.
Yeah, it will sort itself out. It is Jack Fielder Clifford still leading in front of Adam Southgate.
Has Luke gone back into the pit? So is that for his mandatory pit then?
Oh, while one of the Luxim Lambos a little bit of a slide there. That was Matt Carana.
I'm very intrigued in that. So Luke McKeon, Aaron Rose, and Matthew Walker have all gone back in. Sorry, Luke McKeon and Aaron Walker have both gone into pit. Yeah, Matthew Walker has as well. So there must be a window open there to full up, to refuel fully for the remainder of the race while it's still bunched up. Matt Crow's had it gone off, bit down to 16th.
Yeah, he dropped quite a lot. Well, I mean, the whole field of cars is still quite close, so... Right, so there we've got the information from race control that Luke and Aaron got a drive-through for, black flag or a drive-through for leaving a closed pit exit.
But doing what?
And that's why they go back and had to come in again. Right, so Adam Southgate now really putting the pressure on Jack Fielder Clifford here. We are following Simeon Brego, who's on the back of Arnaud Chanonier, coming up to turn 1. Oh, braking really late. Managed to do it quite well, so really nice move there from Simeone. Good overtake, puts himself into P10. And he will be trying to get a position on René Borsche as well, just under a second behind. René Borsche, who is roughly 2.5 seconds behind Matt Caruana. Matt Caruana on his turn is really close to 7. The replay. Yeah, really nice. Well done. So that's Adam Southgate in front of Jack Fielder Clifford with that nice overtake we just saw on the replay. Question is, will Adam be able to create that gap between him and Jack while Leon Penn is really close still? Billy Fletcher in P4 as well.
Okay, I sort of understand that. I was just reading the chat there, I was a bit confused. So it was an iRacing black flag as opposed to a race control black flag.
There you go. Thank you for the inside information, Neil.
It's just to stop us blaming you, that's all it is. Deflecting the blame. But currently, Billy Fletcher's got the fastest lap, albeit we've only raced 1 lap. With 1:49.84. Adam Southgate currently leading ahead of Jack Fielder Clifford. Now Leon Penn is trying to get second position off Jack.
Little replay from Elliot Harper. But we're back on board with Leon Penn for Falcon Sim Racing.
There you go. So, didn't quite get that corner right, and he's lost 3 or 4 places looking at it.
Yeah, currently, I mean, looking at Jack, he's still able to stay relatively close to Adam.
Yeah.
while he's being followed by Leon Penn, Billy Fletcher, and now Rose has joined in as well. So the top 5 are in a nice little group of themselves and have about 3.5 second gap to P6, Irion Martin. So coming out of the hairpin on the back straight, while Perego is showing an off track and is losing at least 2, now 3 positions, even 4. So he probably had an off track somewhere. At the replay again. Oh, nice view. Just taking a little bit too much speed into that one. Probably also still holding the brakes.
I think to answer Byron, Elliot Harper, I think, has been in the pit on lap 3, so that's probably why he's towards the back of the grid. Watching Simone Perego rejoining. Currently sitting in 17th position. We say that he's just gone up into 16th.
Top 3
Chris
just
Spencer's gone
the top 3 just set their personal fastest laps. It's a nice little train here for P5.
Don't want those cones.
While Billy Fletcher here has a look on Leon Penn. Oh, side by side, very close.
Did a bit of rubbing.
Yeah, I mean, Leon is still on the outside here, but it will turn into the inside. The question is, will Billy be able to get speed up to make that the inside for the right-hander? He does.
Ooh, little nudge.
But Leon Penn stays on track. But
Gets the
did
elbows
lose
out.
2 positions. So that puts Billy Fletcher in P3 and Rose in P4. Channonier putting the pressure on John Treseder for P10. John's car is looking a little not the way it should. The rear ring a little bit bended, as well as some front left damage. While James O'Reilly is having a pretty good race as well, currently in P12 on the back of Arnaud Channonier. There we have some people cheering on for René Borsche, who currently is in a good P9, about 4.2 seconds behind Matthew Hodges. Himself has about a 4-second gap to John Treseder, so as long as he keeps doing what he's doing, then should be fine. Of course, we still have that pit stop to go. But we're back on board with the battle in front for P3. Coming out of turn 4. McLaren versus the Audi. McLaren seems to be really strong this season so far from what we've seen on track.
Yeah, it's been pretty consistent over the last few GT3 seasons. The Audi's improved the most, because I'm pretty sure the Audi 2 or 3 seasons ago when we first started doing GT3 was actually a little bit weaker than the old flying Fjord and the
yeah, well, every single season they mix it up a little bit for iRacing, don't they? I mean, and then you always have some cars who are coming out on top a little bit more. Don't see it. James O'Reilly, P11.
having a cheeky look around the outside.
Rick Sheldon and Matt Crow. Rick Sheldon keeping the defensive line. Matt Crow trying to show himself in the mirrors. Really have a good run coming out of this hairpin on the back straight to put it on the inside here for the right-hander. Braking downhill. Brake taking a good defensive line here.
I've just realised about the different numbers on
yeah, that's the color scheme.
Jesus.
Oh, a little bit of contact between the two. Sends Macro in the gravel trap and actually hitting the barrier as well, tiny bit. Right away into replay mode. That's unfortunate for Macro, who I think straight away comes into the pit as well to service pit stop and take the fast repair. So Billy Fletcher has caught up with Jack Fielder Clifford. And still not that far in front of Jack.
Yeah, they seem to be grouping up the top four now. Just over a second between them all.
Yeah, Leon Penn losing a little bit of that draft on Rose.
See the trainer at the front. Interesting to see if anyone's going to try and fuel save at all.
That's definitely a good one.
Just coming up to 29 minutes of the 40. So by my poor maths, that's 11 minutes, which is roughly 6 laps. So I'm just trying to think out loud, as I do often. I'm assuming they're going to start pitting in around 2 to 3 laps time, but they have to take a mandatory, and I presume they don't want to leave it till the last minute.
Yeah, that's a good question now with the safety car coming into play for this one.
Well, they're not going to get the 16 laps. I think they're only going to get 14.
Yep, so Simeon, Perego, as well as Craig Sheldon are currently installed. Now Luke McKeon, after everything that was going on, is currently in P13.
Along with Alan Rose. Had the same predicament.
There we have a nice little battle going on between Chris Needham and Luke McKeon. Chris Needham for RWC Racing and Luke McKeon for Altus Esports. Jack Fielder Clifford just lost 2 positions. It's Billy Fletcher in P2 and Rose in P3 at the moment. Jack Fielder Clifford fell back to P4.
You're not in the toilet, are you, Ruben?
No, I'm not.
Ah. Must be my end. Sounds like you're on a PA system.
But there we saw the replay of the overtake from Billy Fletcher on Jack. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the CXR race for the World GT3 Championship Round 6 at Twin Ring Motegi.
Yeah, just to answer Dom's query there. Yes, mandatory pit stop required in race 2 of the night. Despite the issues at the start, they've still got to do a mandatory pit to fuel because they'll be short fueled anyway, I think, because they're only around 40%, 45% race distance when they fuel up at the start.
So it's Adam still leading in front of Billy and Rose, but it is Billy who's putting the pressure on Adam at the moment, while Jack is falling back a little bit and Leon Penn is not that far off from Jack.
Billy's really closing the gap as well now. He's down to 3/10, and so is Lewis Rose behind Billy. But they're pushing each other on. Could well come down to pit strategy here. And hello to Milo. Oh, just lost my voice.
Cheers for the subscription for 9 months in a row, man. Thank you a lot. We appreciate the support. So Jack is staying within that second of Rose, and the question is Adam sort of not really on pace to pull Billy and Rose away from Jack. I mean, anything can happen. Neil Penn for Vulcan Sim Racing.
Just keep an eye a little
Well,
bit further down on Luke McKeown. He's actually 11th at the moment. Also got the fastest lap of the race at 149.23. So he's actually a couple of seconds quicker than everyone else around him, and Aaron Rose is keeping pace with him. So I'd expect those two guys to get a few more positions before we finish tonight. Probably around 8th or 9th, I'm looking at the times.
And the pit stop will come into play, but the interesting thing we just saw with the lap times from the top 5 is that Adam Southgate was the only one from the top 5 in a 151. And Fletcher, Rose, Phil Clifford and Penn were all in the 150s, although it was only a couple of tenths, but still.
Well,
Since Adam took position, the first position from Jack Fielder Clifford, he's not really seen to be able to drive away, while Billy Fletcher goes for a lunge on the inside here and takes the position from Adam, and it looks like Aaron Rose came through again. Oh, sorry, Lewis Rose came through as well.
Okay.
Throwing me off those names. While, I mean, this battle made it that Jack caught up with them all, and he took Leon Penn with him, so it's back to a 5-way battle for P1, Mark.
I think Billy and Lewis, I suspect, are going to start peeling away a little bit. I'm not sure if Adam's struggling with the car generally, or just doesn't quite seem to be on pace like he was right at the start of the race. I mean, Jack's still keeping pace with him fairly comfortably at the moment. I was just looking, Luke had a little bit of clean air, and he's already down to 7 tenths behind James O'Reilly in 10th. Aaron Rose has fallen a little bit off the pace behind Luke, so I'm not sure if he's had a problem there. Oh, blimey. I think that's for you, Ruben, there.
Yeah. VP, he wants him for VP. While Irion Martin has an off track, there we see on screen.
Walker.
Just went too hard into turn 3, made him too wide and spin the car around. So he lost, I think, at least one position.
Remy Martin just losing the back there a little bit.
And like you just said, it's now Luke McKean in P10, Mark. And is now about 4 seconds behind René Borsche.
But Luke likes a bit of empty track in front, doesn't he? He certainly will make that count.
And as you were saying, it's now Southgate who isn't able to keep up with the pace from Fletcher and Rose. He's about 1.4 seconds behind, and Rose is still right on the back of Billy Fletcher.
So we're coming up to just having a little look. Is it 37th minute at the moment? So we're going to have realistically 2 laps. Yeah, I think it will be this plus 2 laps, I think. So they're going to have to pit in the next lap, I would have thought, at the latest. But just looking down the list, I think the top 8 have all still to pit, plus Chris Needham, who's currently sitting in 12th.
While René Borsche just came into the pit to take his
and I assume... Now this is interesting. So does Luke and Aaron have to pit again? Or have they got enough fuel, do you think, from the first stop when the pit lane opened under safety car? Ooh. But that might add a little bit into it if they've got enough fuel between them.
Oh, Jack Fielder Clifford not had the best run. Leon Penn came on his outside, but tucked in behind him again. So it's Jack Fielder Clifford still in P4, and Leon Penn in P5.
I hope the guys remember they've got to come in. I think they're going to have to do it on this lap, you know. 2/3 of the way.
Jack really going defensive there before the hairpin. Trying to fend off Leon Penn. And it all creates a gap now to Adam Southgate as well. 1.7 seconds. Leon Penn again showing himself in the mirrors on the inside there for Jack. And there we have it, Billy Fletcher, Aaron Rose coming in. Ooh, Adam Southgate still going.
Oh, that might be a problem then. Okay. Top 3 have not pitted. I think they're going to run out of time because I think this is going to be last lap potentially. They crossed the line at 38.10 roughly, wasn't it? And they're doing 150s, which puts it bang on the 40-minute marker, doesn't it?
It actually does.
Ooh. Well, I'll let the technical committee work that one out. This is going to be interesting.
This is going to be very interesting. Yes,
in
indeed.
theory, they're going to be disqualified. I would have thought the top 6 at the moment because none of them have pitted.
There we see Irion Martin again, almost running too wide.
Who's our rules guru? I presume is that race control. Help! Advise! Bit late now, I suppose, isn't it? I'm just thinking that they can't drive slower because then the race will be finished, won't they? And they haven't got the pace to increase by a second or two to force another lap because they've got to go in the pit, so they'll have to slow down anyway, won't they? Yeah, no, without a doubt.
Pit is always mandatory, so, I mean, but it is what it is. We see Elliot Harper on the inside of René Borsche, taking P11. A little bit of a tail-lappy car, but puts himself in front of René.
I'm wondering if they're racing to the laps rather than the 40 minutes.
And there we see the checkered flag as we've crossed the 40-minute mark. And it is Adam Southgate flashing his lights, but it will be looked into because, as we've just said, a mandatory pit stop is just
required.
a thing. Yeah, it's required in the feature race, and it's in the rules as well. So
yeah, I think they've dropped a bollock there. So Billy Fletcher is actually going to take the win, even though it's showing him in 4th.
Jack Fielder Clifford actually coming into the pit on that final lap. The same goes for Matthew Hodges and Irion Martin. But
can you do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. It will be looked into, but as I've said, it's in the rules.
I think it's Billy and then Lewis Rose, really. But it depends if Jack can get away with pitting on the last lap. I don't think you can.
No. You have to pit in the
Got to finish the race on a lap, haven't you? So, yes. Just when we think things were getting easier, eh?
Things are going to get really interesting.
Okay. So, I think Billy Fletcher's taking the win. Lewis Rose 2nd. Luke McKeown, brilliant finish in 3rd, considering he had an early pit stop and also a drive-through, along with Aaron Rose, who I think is in 4th as a result. This will be interesting. I'm not sure how it's going to spit out the results in a second or two.
And yeah, we have the final car to come across the line, Simeon Perego in P20.
So all the finishers will pick up points unless they're disqualified. So obviously we will look at that later. Not often you get to scratch your head and have a little think. So there we go, actually. So that's the qualifying results. I was getting all excited there. I thought, it is. I thought, hold on, Luke didn't win. Okay, so I will read them out, but I'm not sure they're correct. So it's showing Adam Southgate finishing 1st, Leon Penn 2nd, Matt Carunia in 3rd, but I think they'll be DQ'd for not pitting. So Billy Fletcher's did pit, so I think he's won Jack Fielder Clifford again, pitting on the last lap. I don't think you're allowed to do, so I think Lewis Rose is second, even though he's showing sixth. Then Luke McEwen, Aaron Rose, Matthew Hodgins, Jerome Martin, Elliot Harper, Rene Bourchier in 12th, Chris Spence 13th, Matthew Walker 14th, Arnold Chenier 15th, James O'Reilly 16th, John Trester 17th, Chris Needham 18th, Matt Crow 19th, Simone Perego 20th. They have all pitted, so I think it's just clarity on the top three and Jack Clifford, who finished in 5th. I suspect they will be DQ'd. And possibly Matthew Hodges, because he's shown in red, which means he pitted on the last lap as well, I think.
Yeah, we may have to investigate, and we'll maybe just take a look at some average times or whatever. I don't know. We need to, again, investigate another race. These heat races are
interesting.
Yeah, they're throwing up some interesting results that
I'll be honest,
but
I really enjoy the format of a twin heat race. Actually, I think it works really. It makes good viewing. Maybe it's just some teething issues on a technicality, maybe, but yeah, we'll look into these. But that does actually conclude the race. So well done to all.
Yeah. So next week we are at. Come on, guys.
Oh, blimey.
I'm putting you on the spot. I like to put
Okay, hold on a second, because I can't remember what I did an hour ago, let alone what we're doing next week.
What? Come on, we're at Donington Park National, boys.
Oh.
Around 7 and 8.
Well, at least it's not Silverstone. That's fine.
Well, Donington is a really nice track. I do agree.
Donny's a good track. It's good. It's a good one for. I'm not sure if it's a brilliant track for GT3s, but it's certainly a good track for the slightly less powerful ones like GT4s. But there's always good racing at Donny. Is it the GP one, or is it the half circuit, or whatever it's called?
The half circuit? That you mean
well,
the national circuit?
Yeah, that's the one. Because you don't like the GP circuit.
It is the national circuit. I think it was
my
there
favorite.
You go.
It should be the GP circuit, really.
Yeah, maybe it should, but I mean,
it's fine.
Yeah, it's just another few hairpins, isn't it? I think it'll be fine. The amount of drivers that we have in here, I think it'll be absolutely fine to do that. So it should be
it'll be fine.
It should be an exciting race.
Well spotted there, Phil. Forgot to do driver of the day. Caught up in all the excitement of everyone pitting.
Yeah,
or
no,
not, as the case may be.
I hadn't forgotten. I went on the website and it said you cannot connect to the server. So,
okay.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to actually run the driver of the day today.
Interesting comment there from Vulcan Sim. iRacing was telling the guys they still had laps to go.
Yeah, I guess it's because the safety car took too long to do each lap. Now, normally, I don't know whether anybody. Well, I'm sure you did notice the safety car was driving a pretty slow.
Leisurely.
Yeah, so I would say that it was due to that. So the extra 10 minutes that are added onto the half-an-hour race are to take into account. Yeah, just to take into account for those extra laps that we're going to be doing under the safety car that aren't going to count for the race. So 10 minutes. Generally, at most tracks should be about fine. However, this time I think it took about 13 minutes to rectify the whole thing. So I believe that's why it's run maybe a lap less than it should. Did it? 14 laps. Yeah. So
bang on what I said, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to take a look at that. But yeah, it is a mandatory pit though, so every driver was expected to at least come through the pits at least once, and it is advisable always just to not leave that to the last lap.
A bit like when you're fueling up, isn't it? Always bunging an extra lap or so.
Yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things where it's just advisable. But anyway, go to Donington next week. So hopefully round 7 and 8 of this championship should be an exciting one to watch. Cheers, Ruben and Mark, and Neil and Ed in Race Control. Cheers everyone for watching, and we'll catch you guys next week.
Take care. All the best.
Have a good evening.